were many attacks against our city, but these night attacks was more in the region, attacking power grid and infrastructure, not on the city itself. But yes, last weeks were difficult for us because of these missile attacks and drone attacks. And Odessa is the most important port on the Black Sea, and it's about Ukrainian agricultural exports. And maybe that's also a attempt of Russia to cause as much chaos as possible, attacking food security of the world.
Now, large areas of Ukraine are suffering blackouts after Russian missiles have targeted energy infrastructure. Ukraine's largest dam has been hit by a Russian strike. There's no electricity in the second largest city of Kharkiv. Oleksiy Goncharenko, a Ukrainian MP and president of the PACE Committee on Migration, Refugees and Displaced Persons, joins me now. Mr. Goncharenko, thank you so much for joining us on the programme. We saw last year a big push over the winter months by Russia to target Ukrainian infrastructure and make things very difficult for people living in the country. Is this part of the same sort of campaign that we're seeing this year too?
Maybe. It's hard to say. Last year it was attacked during the winter. Now the winter has finished and they attack now. It looks like a part of a campaign of terror against civilians in order to just to put a terror on people. That's all. Because, like, from a point of view of energy, it's quite hard to understand. One other possible reason, it was this attack on the dam. Maybe they tried to destroy it, like they destroyed the Kharkiv dam, causing, unfortunately, a huge ecological catastrophe last year. Maybe they want to do this again this year with this Dnipro gas dam.
And where are you at the moment in the country?
Odessa.
You're in Odessa, so you're down in the south, quite close to Crimea. What's been happening there? Because I think I've seen reports of sporadic missile strikes and rocket attacks and drone strikes there.
Yeah, unfortunately, last weeks were quite difficult in Odessa. There were many attacks against our city, but these night attacks was more in the region, attacking power grid and infrastructure, not on the city itself. But yes, last weeks were difficult for us because of these missile attacks and drone attacks. And Odessa is the most important port on the Black Sea, and it's about Ukrainian agricultural exports. And maybe that's also an attempt of Russia to cause as much chaos as possible, attacking food security of the world.
Now, we've seen footage online of Russian generals going into factories and looking at huge payloads, huge bombs, kind of city-destroying bombs that have just been made. And in terms of the conscription that's been going on in Russia, I mean, it looks now as if Russian military machine and Russian military industrial complex has geared up over the last year, and they're now fighting total war. Do you get exasperated with your allies who, have been helping, but perhaps don't understand exactly how much help you need to be able to counteract the amount of bodies and the amount of explosives that are now being pushed towards your country?
Yeah, unfortunately, Russian economy is on raw footage, and it looks like they're more effective than our allies. One, North Korea provided Russia with more shells than the whole European Union supported Ukraine in the artillery shells. This is a big problem, and that is something which not just Ukraine, but all our allies, the free world, should be concerned about. Because if tyrannies will militarize and weaponize, and at the same time, if the free world will not, that will make it very vulnerable for attacks of such tyrannies. So that's something which should be changed as soon as possible. The economy of the free world is much, much, much bigger, but at the same time, the results are much smaller, and that's not good, and that's not right.
And what is it that you need? What is it that is not making its way into the hands of your soldiers, sailors and airmen that you need right now to help defeat Russia?
We need shells, we need ammunition, we need everything. We need air defense to save our civilians from these awful attacks. Well, that's what we need right now, and that's what we hope we will receive from our allies. We are looking for long-range possibilities, which is very important. For the moment, only United Kingdom and France provided us and supplied us with a long-range missile, and still we're waiting for decision of the United States about ATACMS. Still we're waiting for decision of Germany about Tauruses. That's something which will be extremely helpful for us.
Indeed. Well, look, Oleksiy, thank you for joining us. It's a terrible line, but we can completely understand that because there's, I think, about 53,000 households in Odessa right now that don't have any form of power due to the attacks down there. We know that you're in a very difficult part of the country, and you've been very good over the months, the long months that this conflict's been going on, of coming on the programme to talk us through what's in there. That's Oleksiy Goncharenko there, who is an MP in the Ukrainian parliament. He's also president of the PACE committee of that parliament.